Welcome to the podcast, friends, as Monday unveils all of its little goodies.
Now, this will be a shorter week. We won't have one on Friday because Obi's going to New York City.
Yes, I will be gone Friday and Monday because I'll be getting home late Sunday night, early Monday morning, too early to come in and do the show.
Sure, of course.
So that's the plan. So here, like shorter week, but longer podcast today. This is like a really long podcast.
There's a lot in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. We talk about my trip to New York and how hot it's going to be. My newly minted formula for video game happiness. We get into Incredibles 2, that Jeopardy winner, rats at Wendy's, hiking in the general store, divorce and salted popcorn, cruise ships.
Lots of good stuff.
Bobcats.
There's lots.
I mean, there's stuff here.
Which maybe isn't the best for us if we start giving them a lot early in the week. Then they come to expect a longer podcast.
Hey, where's your better... Oh, so you peaked on Monday?
It's like we gave you everything we had, and now the rest of the week, these days will be shorter.
Well, I'll tell you what. We're coming out of the gate strong. Nothing wrong with that.
Hey, I did want to mention, if you're a fan of our podcast and maybe a fan of then RadioU, where we're the morning show for this week through Sunday only, we got free shipping through shop.radiou.com. So if you ever wanted some RadioU merch, maybe a pop socket or our new RadioU journal, those have free shipping this week.
All right, so shop.radiou.com. Find it there. Get the free ship. So, anything else?
Have a great day.
Bye.
The Worst of the Riot box set is now available nowhere because we know you wouldn't want it anyway. It's The Worst of the Riot on Radio U.
Coming up this weekend, New York, New York.
Someone's going out of town.
Yeah, you know what? We need that song. I need to start spreading the news song. We're going to dig that up. But yes.
Unless copyright keeps us from everything for our podcast.
We'll cover it. But that's this weekend. I'm going to be out Friday and Monday. I'm going to New York City. I'm going to catch a Broadway play, not Hamilton, so don't ask, because who can get tickets to Hamilton? Maybe if I tried harder, I don't know. But going to do that this weekend. I'm actually going to see Anastasia.
Yeah.
Based on the Fox whatever musical.
Like, are you seeing a friend?
A friend, Anastasia. I call her Stasia.
Yeah, it sounds so nice.
It's so fun. But doing that, dude... I'm actually getting ready last night. I was putting together some plans for the New York trip, but then also looking into stuff for the show. And lo and behold, these two items are overlapping because here's the headline. Monday's high temperature in New York City could be record-breaking.
Aren't you so excited to see that?
They are expecting this summer in New York City to be one of the hottest on records. Right now, the hottest New York summer ever, 1929. And so they're saying that the summer of 2018
will beat that.
Might be beating the summer of 29.
Well, what's good
Luckily, that's where I'm headed.
And what's really nice is you'll have a chance to walk around and experience all of that.
Oh, my gosh. And that's...
Or go down and take one of the trains or the subway or something. That'll be extra special.
Well, the good news is that I have... sold a few organs, and I'm actually staying in Manhattan instead of, commuting in. So at least there's that.
Is that why you're looking skinnier?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I am.
And you'll lose more when you go and sweat everything out.
Gonna sweat it all out.
You're going to come back a new person. You'll be glowing.
I can eat whatever I want while I'm gone. I'm going to sweat it all away.
No, you can't afford it, though, while you're still gone.
Okay. Well, it's funny you say that. Actually, tonight, that was one of the things I wanted to sit down. I don't actually have any of my, hey, we should eat here, we should eat there, planned out yet. And I thought, man, I probably better do that, or else I'm just going to end up eating, I don't know.
You got to have a plan.
I need to have more of a...
really, really do.
More of a plan than I have right now. But I got time. And, the good news is, with the way those people are in Times Square, I could run around naked in the heat and no one's even going to notice.
You might actually make some money.
Yeah.
People are just going to throw some money at you.
Can we get our picture taken with you?
Yeah, they're going to think that you're one of the people there.
Yeah. And so it'll be fun.
You're going to have a great time.
I'm excited.
Even if it's hot, you're going to have a great time.
Record-breaking temperatures. This will be... Man, 4 years ago, I was dumb enough to go to Disney in June. That can't, Disney Orlando, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever done in my whole life. It was 108 billion degrees in the shade. It was so hot, and there was no shade because there were people everywhere.
Now you're going to continue with that tradition.
It's a trend.
Yes, you have a great time with it.
What am I doing? I should be traveling in December.
Yeah.
That's when we should be traveling, not June. What am I doing? But it's fine. It's going to be fun. Here's my plan, Nikki. I want to go to 30 Rockefeller Center.
You do?
I want to go to the NBC Factory, studio store.
Sure.
And I want a 30 Rock mug.
Yeah, because you're still back on 30 Rock. He's rewatching it.
Find me. Yes, I am. In my mind, it's real. So I've got to go
been
there.
long gone.
Yeah. I mean, they canceled that show 10 years ago.
Yeah, but they have all the old show stuff in the NBC store, so
do.
You'll be fine to find it.
I want a good coffee mug. Hey, how was your trip to New York? I got this mug, so everything's fine. It's all that really mattered, right?
I need to hydrate now.
The Riot is an award-winning morning show.
It's literally a medal for sucking.
Now that is a medal for trying.
Okay.
Radio U.
I wasn't going to talk about this here,
But since that did.
But since it's right there, I did get some video games in this weekend. Now, unless anyone thinks I have nothing else in my life, I also went hiking. And then, and I planted a tree.
You're seeing just a small snapshot of a few hours here and there.
Hiking and tree planting. So I was outside. Shut up. Right here during the show, was it Thursday or Friday last week, there was a sale on the PlayStation Network where they were selling a bunch of games for E3. So I bought Infamous First Light, which was a standalone expansion for Infamous Second Son on PlayStation 4. I'd never played it, and it's DLC, so it's short. And I don't know, 3-4 hours, whatever, but I played through that this weekend. That was great.
You liked it?
I loved it. It was it was short, just kind of like a bite-sized open world, whatever. But you play this girl whose brother gets kidnapped, and you're trying to get him out, and you're basically a mutant, and you have all these powers and all this stuff. And so you go around doing certain things to expand your powers, and then eventually spoiler, hoping to rescue your brother. And I had a blast with it. And so, Nikki, I have a new formula for happiness.
Yeah.
Okay?
Not a looter shooter.
No, well,
game.
I mean, looter shooters are good. I like little looter shooters.
Yeah.
But it's low expectations plus low prices equals gaming happiness.
Wow, that is innovative.
Come on.
Wow.
All right, let me say it.
Blinders are off the eyes. We were expecting too much at higher prices.
Let me say it to you again so you can write it down, because I discovered how you can enjoy video games. Your mind's good. Here we go. You ready? Everybody ready? Phones out, Google Note, Evernote, whatever, Notepad, get it out. Here it comes. Low expectations plus low prices equals gaming happiness.
So it's plus lower prices.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Now, you can't have low expectations and high prices.
No, it doesn't work.
Because, that can help, but the high prices...
You could get confused at a store, or if there's an online sale, you got to remember it's got to be low prices.
So I paid $7 for
low.
That game. My expectations were pretty low, and I ended up having a great time. So I feel like $7 is a great price.
You're almost glowing when you talk about it because it was such a good deal.
Well, you know what? Maybe then we'll add equals gaming happiness
and good skin.
In parentheses, glowing. So that was great. I went ahead and I had so much fun with that. I went ahead and bought the full game. It was $8. But I still feel like...
So wait, it was another $8, or you only had to spend one more dollar?
No, it was an additional $8. So my total price was $15, but I spent $7 on that, and then $8 on the full game, which
still
they say
low
is...
expectations.
Expectations are low.
Yeah.
Maybe a little higher than for the other one, because I had so much fun with that one that going into this, my expectations were a little higher, but so was the price. So if I, $1 higher on price, if I set my expectations $1 higher, I still think I'm going to be okay.
Should be good.
I feel great about it.
And you still didn't do DDR over the weekend.
I know.
It's an old game that a couple of our listeners sent us for us to try.
I'm not done. Let me tell you what, Nikki, before I go to New York,
you got to do that?
We will have a DDR Obadiah plays. That will happen. So, with determination and hard work, we can make it possible.
That was free. So even lower pricing and lower expectations. So you should have an amazing time with it.
That was just sheer laziness. It was like, I got to hook that up, then I got to put in the thing, then I got to get the thing. I was like, I'll just sit here.
I'll just play something else.
That goat farm is looking more and more likely every day. It's the worst of the riot.
So, Nikki, over the weekend, I bumped into James Truslow of Truslow.
Did you? It's been too long. We haven't seen him in a while.
Well, did you know he was at the RadioU 5K? Did you see him there?
I did not.
He was there, but he wasn't there for the 5K. He was just walking through, and it was like...
It's like, hey, what are you doing here?
So that's my new thing is I go out on the weekends and I run into James.
Is it?
That's what we do. So, like, he and I were at the same pizza place. So we talked for a while, and, you know, I wanted to ask him, like, hey, are you going to make some new music? But, like,
Well, it was about the pizza at that moment. It's not about the music.
It was a civilian meeting place, and I felt like bringing business into this hallowed pizza slinging establishment very inappropriate. So I didn't ask him, though maybe I should, now that we're back in the business end of it.
Now that you see that you could have.
We could shoot him a little thing like, hey, what are you doing? Whatever.
Oh, we'll keep you guys updated.
Hey, speaking of updates and record breaking, Nikki, you were a part of a record-breaking weekend.
Yeah, for The Incredibles 2.
You made it happen.
Did I? Was it my money?
Like, without you, this whole thing falls apart.
Dude, it was so annoying. I had a 10... What time was it? 10:15 that the movie was supposed to, like, that was the call time.
Right.
And it didn't start until 10:50. 10:50.
So you had 35 minutes of commercials
There's
and trailers?
and then they have like a short film, you know,
Okay,
like
sure.
one of those.
The Pixar shorts.
But by that point, I was like, why are we even here? Why are we even here?
And The Incredibles itself is a 2-hour movie. Right?
You know, I don't think it's that long based on, I think they're budgeting everything else in it.
That could be.
I don't think it was that long. It didn't feel that long.
That could be. Well, one of the big
so
things
annoying.
everybody's talking about was that it was a record breaker. Now, on Friday, we were talking about how they were like, hey, it could make as much as $140 million this weekend, which would put it above Finding Dory.
Which has the record of the most for opening weekend for an animated movie.
And so it actually ended up making $180 million. So shattering all box office records.
I read some pretty lame writing for the write-ups yesterday. They were just like, they just didn't expect it. They didn't see it coming.
Wow.
And it was like, oh my gosh, guys.
So
there wasn't a lot of competition.
Not in that space, there wasn't. Like in the kid-friendly, family, whatever. So you release a movie like this on Father's Day weekend, like it's some pretty good scheduling.
I didn't think it would do as well just based on, I was in a huge theater for it. And yes, it was an earlier on a Saturday, so that's not like prime time for it. But it wasn't nearly full at all. So I was a little surprised.
Well, I'm going to see it tomorrow. And everybody that I've talked to has really enjoyed it. So I've got high hopes. Well, I have hopes. Let's not set them too high.
Low expectations, and you're going on a low pricing Tuesday, so that's even lower.
Low
this
expectations,
is your new life.
low prices.
Yeah, I had higher expectations, and I paid a high price, and I was a little disappointed. I was not the same as everybody else. I still felt like the first one had a bit more, I don't know, innocence to it, or just like, oh, this is a great concept for it. And the second one maybe wasn't as good.
Got a little bogged down in the sequel?
A little bit.
Okay.
But everybody else seemed to really like it.
So let's talk big openings for animated movies. Incredibles now sits at the top. Number 2 would be Finding Dory. It made $135 million. Number 3 would be Shrek the Third. That made $121 million on its opening weekend. That was in 2007. At number 4, Minions made $115 million its opening weekend. That was in 2015. I really didn't like that movie. And then at number 5, Toy Story 3 made $110 million, and that was in 2010.
Well, if you're going, just realize you might not actually have to go when they say it starts.
You've got a little time.
You got about 30 minutes.
One other stat that I will throw at you is that if we're looking at what is the highest grossing animated films of all time, that would be Finding Dory in 1, followed by Toy Story 3. That can't be right. Where's Frozen in this? Didn't Frozen make like $1 billion?
Yeah, but I think that might have been merchandise and, box office and home. All combined.
I'm just curious as to why they have, where is Frozen in this mix?
It's in its own category. for Frozen animated features.
All right.
That's number one.
I'll just have to go doing some digging. Maybe they're just comparing the top 5 box office opening weekends. Maybe that's across their gross.
Jeff nailed it. Worth the $5, not worth 14 years of waiting for Incredibles 2. I feel that way too, Jeff.
Yeah, I feel that. I do. So, but you know what? Is anything going to live up after 14 years?
That's too long. Too high of expectations.
Waking up with the Riot makes your nightmares not seem so bad. Actually, you might want to just go back to sleep. Radio U.
Over the weekend, I planted a tree.
You did? Yes. That's so good of you.
Nikki, I'm part of the solution now.
You are fixing things one tree at a time.
That's exactly right. Now, there's one thing that we do kind of have to talk about before we claim some kind of victory over planting the tree.
You took 10 out just to put the one in? No.
I took one out.
Oh, did you? Oh, you're just replacing?
Well, yeah. You know what happened? I planted a tree. Actually, last year I planted 2 trees. One of those trees is doing well. I mean, it's not a big hulking tree yet. It's still a baby tree. Maybe it's an adolescent tree. I don't know, but like it's taller, but it's doing fine.
Is it angsty or?
It keeps giving me like
attitude.
Looks. Yeah, whatever. But the other tree, at first they were both budding at the same time, and then one of them just stopped. It was like, I'm done. That's it. Over. So one of them was fine, one of them wasn't. So I had to dig it up. And I didn't even know. I didn't know you could do this. I took it back to the place I bought it.
Yeah, they usually give you like a year or so with it.
I was like, look at this tree. It sucks. And so then they let me go pick out a new tree, which I did. And I planted that over the weekend. So I don't want you guys to think that I'm like too big of a part of the solution because I just take that one out.
It wasn't like you were just doing a new tree on its own.
But that tree was stealing resources and something and stuff and whatever. So, you know, like this is totally fine.
That was very good of you to do.
I didn't even know trees could not work. Like, what is that? You go buy a tree and like after a year you find out it's not a good tree?
Some just don't take well to maybe where you put it.
I don't understand it, dude.
And it's the tree's fault, not yours.
How are there trees anywhere ever? I had to dig this tree, and they're like, here, put this special worm stuff in there. So I did that. Then you're supposed to put in this other soil, and then I'm supposed to water it every day.
Which might have led to the problem.
What, because you're saying I wasn't watering it?
Maybe.
No, you're wrong. I have, Nikki,
You tried?
I've got a water bag that I put on it that I fill with water, and it's slow drip, and it's supposed to be like, it's supposed to work. It worked for one tree, but like, how do any trees ever make it?
I mean, how are there forests of trees?
Look at those trees out there. Nobody went out there and they were like, all right, I'm going to water it every day.
Well, there was no pressure on that one. That was just, it happened.
It just happened. Well, that's what I don't understand.
You're watching these trees and they feel pressure.
I don't know how any tree ever makes it because I'm not there to make sure it gets city water every day.
There isn't a nature's version of the water bag.
It only gets whatever rain there is. That's all that the trees ever get. And yet there are trees everywhere. So why is it that my tree, which was babied, and it was like...
Maybe you babied it too much.
I just can't. It's too much. I can't. I won't.
I'm dead.
E2 Brute.
And then suddenly the water bag just explodes and it dies.
It's over.
Aw, poor tree.
I don't know. Like, again, I'm amazed that the real miracle is that any tree ever makes it. I shouldn't be surprised that that one didn't.
Well, at least you had the other one that made it. It stayed alive.
Yeah. I mean, that's obviously an accident. It didn't mean to. I guess it has until next year.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's waiting till after your warranty's gone, and then it'll die.
You're probably right.
Imagine a world where the Riot never talks and it's glorious Radio U music for hours on end. Now, imagine the opposite of that. You're already there. It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
We got a problem, guys. We got a bun problem. Let's talk about your buns.
I thought that would be the safe part of a fast food restaurant.
It seems like it would be the easiest part to deliver on because it's just bread.
Yeah, I thought, you got to be careful of the meat or the chicken because it's like, it's not really, but...
Or it's not cooked right.
Apparently, we should be really keep an eye on the buns when it comes to your favorite restaurants.
So last week, we were all over Burger King because there was video of a Burger King in Delaware. And
somewhere on that side.
Yeah, it was in the state of Delaware, and they had all kinds of rats in their bags of buns.
Yeah, like if you've ever seen a delivery or like sometimes they'll store a couple of items out back and it's like got the stacks of the plastic things holding the bags, and that's what they took video of, and there was a rat in there.
So there's that. Now we've got Wendy's. Which, for some reason, them saying that about Burger King, I was like, yeah, obviously. Of course Burger King has that. But with Wendy's, I'm like, no, not Wendy's.
This could be anywhere.
This is obviously a scam trying to hurt Wendy's.
Well, okay, so the one at Burger King was a rat,
Yeah.
and this is a mouse.
And you feel better about that?
I feel like that is a bit of a scale. Like there's a difference.
So Skylar Frama, she is an employee of this Wendy's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. She found a bag that had a mouse and feces inside the bag of buns.
It's got to go to the bathroom.
No,
I
you
mean,
have
it's
to
not
go.
the mouse's fault.
You have to go.
But it
And-
was a bag of buns.
And so she informed management. Management did nothing about it. So she shot video of it and then put it out on their interwebs. And now everyone's taking it very seriously.
I love the line. Says that staff at the restaurant said it doesn't surprise them levels of hygiene being at an all-time low.
Oh, do they mean personal hygiene?
I don't know.
restaurant?
It seems a bit open.
You know,
That can be for all restaurants that we're going to.
here at Radio U, hygiene levels are at an all-time low.
Okay, we're fine, though. There's no bags of hamburger buns anywhere here.
I wish there was.
I love this news thing because the articles, they've got video and they're across the street from the Wendy's.
I know. And it's
They're not on the Wendy's property, but they're enough to where it's in the background to film.
and they've got this girl shooting video in front of it. So, okay, she becomes the Wendy's whistleblower. So does she get fired for doing this interview in front of the Wendy's, obviously on public property where the Wendy's is in the background?
Maybe she's not there anymore. Maybe she is. Not sure.
But, like, can you do that? Could you fire her? Because if you did, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, we see how it is.
Well, employees, they're saying, are now threatening to quit if managers don't take the health code violations seriously. They said when they told them about the live mouse, managers said take a new rack and get the buns underneath. So they said that was disgusting to them because there was rat droppings in the underneath of every rack.
Did you see the one with the other girl? She said she found a cigarette on the counter. They'd found a rat. So I don't know what the cigarette part is, but she's another employee that got interviewed. And, well, she's on the public street in front of the Wendy's, not on their property.
Not on the property.
Yeah. So, you think this affects the freestyle machine at all?
You know, I don't even want to know what that is. They're always like the McDonald's ice machine. They always say is just terrible, or
It's full of mold.
Yeah,
and
or like the
weird
ice cream
stuff.
machine is supposed to be next level when it comes to what's nasty. I'm sure the freestyle machines are no better.
Crap. All right.
You just hope that the mixture is enough to kill any bacteria.
That's my hope, Nikki. It's what I'm holding on to it.
That's why you need to pick a strong mix if you're going to get a drink from there.
Something real.
Worst of the riot, not enough? Not enough? Check the blog and all things Riot at riot.radiou.com.
All right, so let's go ahead with Nikki and see her answer in Final Jeopardy. Did you guys see the thing about the Jeopardy lady? Like what she did? What is happening? We've got a woman in Adrian, Michigan, a 7-time Jeopardy winner. She teaches history at Adrian College in Southern Michigan. She pleaded guilty of unauthorized computer access.
She was hacking colleagues' emails at the school.
Okay, here's the thing. She kind of was. So here's what happens. They have some kind of a problem on the email server where she works at the college. And so they reset everyone's password so they have the same exact password. So
did everybody know this, or did she just find out about this?
Basically, they sent out an email like, hey, we've had to reset the server. Here's the temporary password. Everyone go in and change your password.
Yeah.
So she was like, oh, well.
Oh, so during that time, she logged in before people changed it?
I'm going to just go and see what everybody's saying.
Hop on into their emails and see what everybody's got.
So here's the part that is interesting is that somebody, like, it wasn't that there was a computer thing that caught her. One of her the other professors found out that she had done it. We don't know how, just that it had happened, and then reported to school officials that she had done that, and they fired her. I'm just amazed that it's a criminal charge.
Well, it is. That's your privacy there. And
I know, but like what? Okay, all right. Like, I come in here and Hudson has left his email open.
Well,
or he's left his Facebook account open.
That's different compared to you logging in with someone else's. Because it's school and it's her work. It's not a public account as well.
So it's cool if I go ahead and read all of Josh's emails as long as he left himself logged in?
If he left it up, then... I mean, that's something.
All right. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and say what you just said is admissible in a court of law as a defense.
No, but that's why she's fired compared to we just left it up.
We left it open. And I just happened to, use his Facebook account to send some menacing messages and to publicly post some very embarrassing things. It's fine. Like what? Is that I'm supposed to go to jail for that?
It's just really unheard of because normally no one ever gets fired for anything when it comes to school stuff.
Well, but see, this is college. This is college. College is different. This is not like public school teachers union kind of stuff. This is college professor. It's a different wild world out there in the professor land, Nikki. So yeah, she's already pleaded guilty. So she's got sentencing coming up next month. We don't know what's going to happen to her.
They want to see how well she does with her current restrictions, and then yes, they'll do sentencing later.
I want to see. Oh man, I want to see like Alex Trebek come in or something at the trial
as the judge.
They should stage this thing, a big thing. Or is he, is he her defender, or is he the attorney for the state?
No, I think he's the judge.
You think he is?
Yeah, I think he is. He's doing the sentencing.
The part that keeps me up at night, we paid them for this. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Nikki, do you have right now a mental disorder?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Because you seem like you might be addicted.
For what? What am I addicted to?
Well, you know what? See, the very fact that you're not willing to admit it and the way you're trying to, skate around the issue. That's
right.
Like right now, you're in the middle of denial. It's not just a river in Egypt anymore, is it?
Unless there's nothing to own up to.
Oh, right. Yeah. Deflection. Let's talk about me then. Forget about what's going on with you, Nikki. Let's talk about your gaming disorder.
I don't have a gaming disorder.
See, there it is. And did you see how intense she came back at me? You guys see that right there? That's anger.
Hey, there's other things you could pick before you got to if you tried to peg a gaming disorder on me.
So the World Health Organization is about to qualify gaming disorder as a new mental health condition. It's working on its 11th edition of the International Classification of Diseases that releases today.
Yeah.
And so that is not the same as the DSRM, Diagnostic Statistics, Mental DSR, the thing that American psychologists use. I can't remember what it's called, but there's that, and then this is the international version
of that.
I don't know that they're connected, but this is what the WHO, the World Health Organization, uses for this. So they say that gaming disorder is real, and they say there are 3 signs that show that it's not just, hey, quit. Like, just do something else for a while. But it is actually a mental problem that is taking place. 3 signs of it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
They call these the 3 major diagnostic features. One is that gaming behavior takes precedence over other activities. So
you'd rather do that compared to anything else.
Well, not just that you would rather do that, but that you do that instead of taking a shower, going to work. Any activity you can think of, it takes precedence over that. Diagnostic feature number 2 of gaming disorder, according to the World Health Organization, impaired control of behaviors. So that means that even when negative consequences occur, the behavior continues or escalates. So you're late for work because you're playing Fortnite. Your boss says you're going to lose your job if you do this again. You keep playing Fortnite even though you're going to lose your job.
Sure.
You lose your job. That's a sign that you can't control what's going on. And then number 3, significant distress and impairment in personal, family, social, or occupational functioning. So you're choosing your game over friendships, over family, over work, over all these other things.
Not to peg a certain game, but it really does seem like Fortnite has brought that out in a lot of people.
Did I keep saying Fortnite?
No.
Because it was just an that's just an example.
No, but we have
just
seen an amazing amount of stories of people that it has developed into that problem, where maybe you were fine until that certain point, but you're going all day on that game and all night.
Yeah, I just heard a story about a kid that got busted. his parents were limiting the amount of time he was allowed to play during the day. So he would go to sleep. He had an alarm set for the middle of the night so he could get up and play it in the middle of the night. And then he would go back to bed before his parents got up.
We're talking initiative on some of these things where it's like you're getting up in the middle of the night and doing that like a job.
We got to figure out how to harness
that. They're really young
that.
and you're getting stuck like that.
People are into it, man. So, or other things. So this gaming disorder, it is very controversial for a lot of different reasons. One is that if you classify something like this, it often means that insurance companies will now either
accept it, yes.
Yes, like they'll start paying for something like that. And,
well, I think
for treatment.
I think that should start being what is accepted from them because it's definitely something that is growing in a lot of people, and you have to have insurance to help with it. If not, you might not be able to get treatment.
They do say it is more rare than you think it is. So if you're like, yeah, man, he can't stop playing, most people actually can stop. They just choose not to. They're talking about truly rare cases
Someone who really
where
cannot.
They really cannot stop, and they do need treatment.
Or you're finding that they are getting up at like 1 a.m. in the morning and playing and then intentionally going back to bed so you won't find out.
Hiding the behavior.
Yes, that's it.
Could be a sign. I don't know.
The Riot.
Apparently, some of the less athletic types go nuts for this stuff.
Radio U.
Nothing says love like a donut, or perhaps a piece of pizza. And you know that researchers at Yale University realized that too. They're like, man, why is it that just given the chance, I'd rather have a donut than anything else, or a piece of pizza or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
This is fascinating. So here's what they did. They took 206 volunteers and they gave them all some money and let them auction, like bid on food. And they monitored their brain activity while they were auctioning on this food because, you know, they had to think about the food and all these different things. And then I believe that they actually went ahead and let them eat a little bit on the food. And
gave them a little bit.
Here's what they found.
Just a little taste.
Is that foods that have a special mixture of fat and carbohydrates together.
Yeah.
So straight fat, massive carbs, fat and carbs.
That seems to be the magic amount.
Perfect! So they say that those foods stimulated the reward center of the brain more than any other food.
Sure.
So what they're saying is, hey, the only food, get a load of this, the only food that exists in nature that has that kind of carbon or that combination of fat and carbs in one thing, human milk.
Ew.
So like the milk, well, I know, but think about it.
Okay,
the milk,
but that's maybe
like,
why.
The milk that you would get from your mom.
Oh, how weird.
Is the only thing in like nature that has that kind of combination. So
of fat and carbs.
Maybe that's why
we love pizza so much.
They call it comfort food because that part of your brain.
I don't want to go any further into
this. Just like you're a baby.
I don't want to go into it.
Just like you're a baby. Like it's comforting you. It's calming you down. It's helping you relax.
Probably 100% right.
It's terrifying.
That's scary.
It is scary. And one of the things that they're saying, one of the things they want to prove is like, hey, people are getting fatter for a reason. Like it's not just
because we want comforted,
that we're lazy. Yeah. It's that the food supply is different than it has ever been in history. And so they're saying, look, right now, modern processed foods have a unique combination of fat and carbohydrates in the same meals that are not available naturally and are literally hooking you because your reward center is getting fired up. And so you, after a while, like desire a hit
of the
from
comfort.
That reward center of your brain.
Well, pizza 100% fills that.
Hey, bro, I'll take that pizza right now.
I
or
know.
What's their other example?
Donuts.
And what do I talk about all the time?
Donuts.
And
pizza.
See, don't you see how there's part of me that apparently wants to just go back to my childhood?
Apparently. That is so funny to think someone would combine those two together to come up with that result.
Mm-hmm. So Yale News reports that the human body is not designed to handle snack foods like donuts, French fries, chocolate bars, and potato chips. But we love them! But they say that reward system may actually be at the heart of what is causing
your love
obesity.
For that.
Because, and it's almost that thing of, we don't want to completely take our responsibility for our actions out of it, but your food is literally firing a part of your brain that's making you go, yeah, I need more.
Well, that might help you fight it then, if that's what you're choosing to do. No pressure, no whatever, but if you realize like why you're desiring it so much, it might help you be able to say no to it if you're choosing at that moment to say no.
Nikki, I will tell you, as someone that had to fight off their soda reward center addiction,
where it's like everything is firing super fast.
it's so hard to do. Like, it is not easy to fight that off. It can be done. But water.
But it helps to know why it's firing so much.
No, you're absolutely right. Just awareness of the fact, arms you for the battle, but it's not an easy fight.
Want to know what the Riot is doing right now? Follow them on Instagram and Twitter at riot.radiou.com. It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
So yesterday I went hiking, and I'm telling you guys this because there is a trend in social media that people think the only thing I ever do is play video games, and that's because it's all I ever tell you about. So here I am. I want you to know that this weekend I went hiking
so that
and
you can
planted
see
a tree.
There are other parts to Obadiah because, yes, every so often you'll hear from someone who only assumes that's all you do is just play video games.
Like, hey, man,
it's not healthy.
Thought about doing something else with your life.
There's lots of hours in the day.
About it? There's a lot going on.
It's not just games.
Yeah, so I just want you guys to know that I went hiking. I've got a couple of mosquito bites to prove that I was, in fact, outside. And, it was over 90 degrees. It was humid.
A little bit of a tan. It looks good. Like you're outside.
Do I really look like I got some sun?
Yeah.
Well, look at me.
Absolutely.
Everyone stare at this face.
That's healthy.
Woo! He's got a ruddy glow. It's that exterior lifestyle that he's living now, getting out there, doing things. I can tell
you were outside doing something over the weekend.
It was actually a lot of fun. We went, it's like I found this trail. It's a gorge where you can just go down this paved path, but then they had trails that would break off of it. So you could go out and kind of get out into the woods and stuff. And that's what I did. I'm like, that was great. They were very narrow. And this was a state.
The paths were narrow?
Yes. So, it was basically like single file kind of thing. And this was near a park I went to last year. It was probably about 10 miles from that place where I definitely got lost. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go on a trail run. There are so many different trails that have no markings. So that only took me about an hour and a half to get back from.
Well, I had a good workout.
Yeah, it made this one, you've been lost a couple times. You started to get a little more. So I used my phone to take pictures of the map. And this, I will say, they had very clearly marked trails and places where you knew where you could go on and get off. Now, when it was over, I felt like not so much that I deserved a reward, but I was starving. I was like, I want to get ice cream. So I stopped at the camp store to get some ice cream. They didn't have any. And so I ended up with a candy bar. And I know, economics, sometimes scarcity drives prices. But boy, I bought a candy bar. And I think it was about $18.
Yeah, but that's because you're at the general store of the small campsite in the small park. They know you're desperate.
Who is this general?
They know
I want to see the general.
They know you're desperate for something if you're going for the candy bar.
What?
They got you.
What?
It's like at the movie theater. They got you.
Come on. I should have gotten
even worse, though, in the camping place.
Yeah. If you think that airports have high prices, go to the camp store.
I think you're also expected to barter with them. Like if you found an animal pelt or some sort of, lost item in the woods, you bring it in, you barter with them.
But Milky Way Midnight is $2 or 3 squirrel skins.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, I have 2 squirrel skins.
Now, you must find squirrel skins of squirrels that were old
already
and
dead.
Died anyways.
You don't want a young, healthy pelt?
You are not allowed to kill them.
Okay. Well, next time I really need to take my bow and arrow out with me, and I'm sure that'll be really smiled upon.
They're like, what's this guy doing? It's all right. I just want a candy bar. It's fine, guys.
This is so after I've hunted and gathered, I'll be able to afford a candy bar at the end of this hike.
Yeah, that's what I think you're supposed to do.
Perfect. So there you go, everybody. Look at me. I was outside. Woo!
You want a slow clap or like a normal clap, Nikki? Or like, woo! Nope. Like a cheering thing?
My ruddy glow is its own reward.
You got some sun.
It's great.
Feeling good, right?
Oh, yeah. Do we have a cover of Feeling Good? Can we sing that song?
The Riot is now accepting applications for a staff pastry chef. Please drop your resumes and an example of your work at the studio door, and we'll get back to you. Wink, wink. The Riot on Radio U.
So everybody's talking about The Incredibles and how it made big money and everybody's loving it. 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's pretty good.
Now, the biggest opening for an animated movie.
So news. Incredibles are incredible.
Hey!
But something there I don't see a lot of people talking about that is, I think, kind of fascinating is that while you've got Incredibles 2 getting a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, there was another movie
Over the weekend?
that got a 0.
How do you get a 0? That's
That
not a
means
movie
that
then.
every single review was bad.
No, that's not
Remember,
possible.
Rotten Tomatoes is either good review, bad review, and then they just take the percentage of that. So every review
Hated it?
bad.
Has there ever been a 0 before?
There are other 0% movies, though I don't know what they are, but I guess there are a couple. I had heard that this was John Travolta's third 0%.
What was the movie?
It was called Gotti, Gotti, which I believe
It's the mobster thing? Or
it's something that.
And that one has been pushed around for a while.
Yeah. 0%. Oh, here we go. He was also in a movie called Life on the Line that got a 0%.
Wait, did you read the article, though? Everybody's hearing this morning that MoviePass accounted for 40% of that whole opening.
Holy crap.
Which means that someone was just going to see a movie, probably.
Well, sometimes with MoviePass, people will buy a ticket to a movie, and then they will use that ticket to go to another movie.
Like, say, if you saw Incredibles on Friday, MoviePass will keep you from going to see Incredibles again, so you pick something else that's not as popular, and then you use it up. I wonder if a lot of people were doing that, so they probably didn't even see the movie.
Totally popular.
Wow, that's amazing.
Possible. So it's fascinating. You look at his film history, though. So, like, Look Who's Talking Now, 0%. That's from 1993. He followed that up with Pulp Fiction. They got 94%. Like, this guy, he's all over the map. Like, there are movies where it's like he is so highly ranked in, like, really well-liked movies. And then tank.
Yeah, then nothing else.
Yeah, so that's his latest. His last two, Life on the Line and Gotti, both 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm more interested about the MoviePass part of that, how that's such a big percentage of what it actually made for its 1.67 million opening. That's a lot of money.
Well, it's a lot of money for
coming from
MoviePass.
Not for its opening weekend. That's not there.
1.67 million for an opening weekend versus the 180 million.
Now, also, to be fair to it, it's 0% Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know if you did mention it, but that's from 23 critics only.
Nikki, that means that only 23 critics were willing to go see it.
Sure. Yeah, no one else has the time.
So you gotta keep that in mind too. Only 23 people were willing to even waste the space to write about it.
No matter how you spin this, it doesn't look well for the Gotti movie.
Nothing about this is good for them. So, I mean, well, you know, you feel like sometimes during the summer there's too many movies. How could you possibly see them all? This is one you could probably mark off the list.
It's the worst of the riot, because calling it the best of the riot would be a lie. Radio U.
I have no idea why this is now national news. It happened in May, but I saw it everywhere yesterday. Talk about going to the movies. We were just saying Gotti got a 0%. The Incredibles 2 got a 90-something%. I don't know what movie this couple went to see on May 27th.
But something happened?
But at 9:31 p.m. on May 27th, the police got a phone call to show up at the Marcus Majestic Cinema in Brookfield, Wisconsin. I go to a Marcus Cinema all the time. So see how I feel a personal connection.
Well, we're connected now.
So what happened was a husband and wife go to the movies. The wife pays for the popcorn. Good for her. Right? Thank you.
Well, you mean like she goes to the counter and gets it?
I don't know. She says she paid for it. She says because she paid for it. If she wanted salt on her popcorn, she can put salt on the popcorn.
So this was going to be her bucket.
Husband says, I don't want salt on the popcorn. When they get in the theater and he discovers that there's salt on the popcorn, he says their marriage is over. This is it.
That was the last straw.
This is it. This is the last one. It's finally, I'm done. This marriage is over
the salt on the popcorn.
So he gets up and he goes outside and he just sits on the curb. Here's what I love. The wife stays in the theater, eats the popcorn, watches the movie. fantastic.
She's not moving. Great. She's not leaving.
Just like, yeah, we've been
She wanted the salt on the popcorn.
She wanted salt on the popcorn. She got salt on the popcorn. She's eating the popcorn. She comes outside. There's her husband. She gets the car. He's like, I'm driving. And she's like, no. You drive too fast when you're angry. You can't drive. So she drives the car. He refuses to get in. She calls the police.
Aww.
Now get a load of this, because she's afraid he'll get stranded at the theater if he won't get in the car.
Yeah, he won't find a way home.
Police inform her, hey, it's not a criminal thing for him to not get in the car with you.
Did you say how old they were?
I don't know. Like, if you're thinking to yourself, like, oh, they're like 90.
That's what I'm envisioning. Like, oh, the poor guy can't get home, but yet they're mad at each other.
I don't think that's the case.
Like, he's not going to get a ride.
The more you go into it, you're like, what? Huh? What? So it just turns out that I don't know if they've gotten a divorce yet, but the man said that they were going to, because sold on the popcorn.
Could be, but again, she said that he's done this before, so.
Well, he's gotten angry before.
and said and made this threat.
Yeah. So,
and popcorn sounds good, too.
Yeah, but you're still fasting, so everything sounds good right now.
Especially popcorn. Doesn't it have warm, buttery popcorn?
You know what? Movie theater popcorn, like,
That's
I can't.
your thing?
Well, I do enjoy it, but it's one of those things where I have to be really careful with it, because I know it's the oil. If I eat too much of it, it'll make me sick, even though it's so good. And then the other thing is, how do you not eat too much of it?
I know, you just have
How's that even possible? To eat movie theater popcorn is to find the bottom of a bucket. And then you got to have soda with it. And then when you get out, you're like,
Can I have a refill?
I'm going to have to fast for a month and drink nothing but water just for my body to detox.
While you're eating it, it is so good.
Don't mistake me for a health nut. I just find that there's something particularly toxifying about the movie theater popcorn. I don't know what it is.
Be sad if
good, though.
If the wife did ask for no salt, but the employee just put it on anyways.
Just to make it rough.
Yeah, well, like they didn't know, and it was just a mistake, and the guy's yelling at her.
You know what, Nikki? At my Marcus Theater, you have to put your own salt on. They don't salt it for you.
Oh, but they cut back.
They will go ahead and put multiple layers of the butter on if you want.
Yes.
I appreciate that. Scoop of popcorn, little butter. Scoop of popcorn, little butter.
That's
then lots of butter on the top. Then you shake it up. Thank you, movie theater guy.
The Riot believes in truth, justice, the American way, and high-speed internet. No, faster. Radio U.
Wait for it.
Eddie.
So, I hate to cut our morning calisthenics short, but Nikki, I'm going to need music of a different kind.
Yes, what type?
Well,
Lord of the Rings.
A little Hobbit kind, because
it's been a while.
Over the weekend, in the Czech Republic, they recreated the Battle of the Five Armies. Little LARPing, show up fully dressed. We need orcs and we need men of the Dale. And we're also going to need some elves and dwarves. And they did that in the Czech town of Doksky, which is about 50 miles north of Prague.
How many people showed up?
Oh, over 1,000? That's a lot.
That's a lot of people.
Here, look at this picture. Like, look at all these people in this picture. That's a lot of people hanging out in the woods dressed
with a lot
up.
of costumes. I feel like that to me seems like a smaller area. Like, they're making their own outfits then. It's not like they're going to the local costume shop.
Are you saying they don't have a costume shop in the Czech Republic?
It's not enough for everybody.
Ooh, this is the role I want to play. Here's an orc that's been defeated who's just laying on the ground.
Then you're out.
Perfect.
That's great.
That's perfect. Like, you just get a chance, like, you know what? I put this crazy costume on and then no one can see it, but I've built a pillow, like, into this helmet. So I just lay on the ground and play dead orc.
But you're still out with your friends.
Yeah,
so
but
you're still go there, but you're not having to do anything else past that.
Still doing something.
I don't know if I could ever go LARPing.
Wow, look, I mean, this is amazing. They had a march out to the battlefield, and some of these costumes, it's pretty intense. So I just imagine this is a bunch of semi-grown men and women that are out there like, no, you're dead. I got you. Like, no, I got you. No, I got you.
Do you think they had the battle planned out? Like, you got a PDF of, all right, if you're orc number one, you move to the left, right, and then you die? Or,
So it's coordinated?
Or do you think it was just all like, just ad lib?
Wow, like one character who rested against a tree after he was injured in the fighting. I don't know.
It's a different thing. It's a different world. We don't know.
You know,
I'm
maybe
not going LARPing. I'm also not doing Lord of the Rings dress up. I'm not doing that.
All right. Well,
Maybe for Halloween if we do a riot show, but that's it.
great. So
I'm not going to be a team player.
this is an annual event, just to let you know.
Well-
It's called B5A,
B5A.
Battle of the Five Armies.
Ah, gotcha.
So they say most of the people that take part in this are aged between 20 and 30 years old. And I don't see anything here that
Looking
explains.
for a special someone?
Well, maybe.
They're probably single, ready to meet others who have like-minded interests and stuff.
Yes. Okay. Sure. It doesn't say anywhere on here,
I'm just
Nikki.
adding that in there.
No, I know.
I feel like that's it.
I'm just saying, like, still don't know how they decide who wins.
Sure. No
I don't
one
know.
wins. It's still a war.
But in war, no one wins. That's good, Nikki. I like that.
Okay,
I
that's
like
what
that
you
approach.
have to always remember, even when it's a LARPing war.
But Nikki, I think in the real battle of the five armies, the real one,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the men of the Dale won
Yes.
and beat back the orcs and the goblins, I believe.
Orcs are orcs, though.
Yeah. So what are you going to do, right? They're the bad guys.
In case you're during this last 5 minutes, you're like, that sounds like fun. We can send you more information in case you want to be there for next year's version.
The battle in the forest at the foothills of the Bezdez Fortress has been held annually for 18 years.
And where was it again? In the
This is in the Czech Republic.
Czech Republic.
In Doksky, which is a city that is about 50 miles north of Prague.
And the people there knew everybody was coming. It's like you see the bus pull up, you're like, you're here for that, aren't you? Come with your bags and your capes. Here for the the weekend.
Here's the thing you have to say. They're doing something.
It's true.
You know,
That's good.
They're doing
Going out
something.
there, yes.
Like they're out there, like they're pouring their creative energy into something. That's good for them,
But
right?
what if you're traveling from like, hey, I'm like
Just
8
happened to be
countries
that
over
weekend.
and I'm coming over here.
Your car breaks down in Doksky.
And you're like, what's this battle?
What the heck is going on?
What's going on here?
It's fine. You know, maybe they do. This is in Europe. They do that kind of stuff all the time, right?
The Riot.
They hate me, they hate you, they hate us.
Why else would they make us listen to the worst of the Riot? Radio U.
Yesterday, I became afraid for, I would say the species, though in reality, it's probably just me. Like, I'm probably the one that I should just be concerned about myself, because they say one of the key items for survival is adaptability and resiliency. So circumstances are changing and you're just like, okay, I can adapt, I can do things different, and I'm resilient. I'm recovering, I'm still working, I'm pushing, I'm doing things. Those things. Yesterday, at approximately 2 until 5, I was calling to order a pizza, and I wanted pizza from this very particular pizza place, and they're supposed to open at 4 p.m., and it was 4:58. So like they'd had 58 minutes to be open.
You were calling like 2 minutes before 5. I was like, why were you calling from the window of 2 to 5?
No.
Right before
Right.
it opened. I gotcha. Kind of like when your doctor's office opens and you got to wait to call like right at that moment.
But see, I had given them 58 minutes to warm up the ovens.
Sure.
To get everything ready. And see, the fact that the timestamp is burned in my brain should tell you just how there's part of me that's still in that moment. Like, I'm still living back there. I can't recover from what happened because when I called, even though they were supposed to be open, they didn't answer.
No one answered the phone?
Nobody answered the phone. And then I was like,
You didn't adapt well, did you?
You know what? It's fine because they're probably on the other line. You know, this mom and pop pizza place, they're probably a highfalutin. They got a lot happening. It's 5 o'clock on Father's Day. Dads eat pizza. Is that it?
It's
That's
busy.
the thing. All right. I'll just call back in a couple of minutes. So I called back and
No answer?
they didn't answer. So I was like, it's fine. It's fine. So I called back and they didn't answer. Now, let's keep in mind that there are roughly 400 pizza shops within a 10-mile radius of my house, but I couldn't switch. I couldn't get pizza from somewhere else. I couldn't.
You stopped there?
So I haven't eaten since yesterday at lunch. I never ate again.
Oh, you poor person.
I'm just waiting for that pizza place to open because I determined
if we had a problem.
that I was going to eat that, and so if they aren't open, I can't eat until they open.
Do you think that
I hope they open today?
Do you think they were closed for Father's Day?
I have no idea. I checked their website. That wasn't updated.
You check Facebook?
No.
That's where you should check.
I didn't even think I wonder if they. Well,
you really don't
adapt
well with it, are you?
I just couldn't. I couldn't take it. Wait. Let's see. I'm not gonna tell you guys where it was
because they weren't open. They don't deserve it.
Right. Well, and I don't want to throw any shade here because I need them to be open, Nikki.
Yeah. Yes, of course, for your pizza today.
All right. Let me take a look here. Still loading, but it's fine. Anybody? No, the last posting they made was on February 25th.
You think they closed down for good?
No, because I had pizza there last week.
Yeah,
don't you say that.
What if they did and you're not there to physically see the sign on the door? Maybe they did close down.
All right, well, then you know what? I'm going to have to drive over there and check on them. In the meantime, I did have a peanut butter sandwich.
Oh, so you have eaten.
I guess I am resilient. Look at how I adapted. I'm going to survive. Me and the cockroaches.
I don't know. That wasn't your best moment of surviving.
Boy, I really just did stand there blinking like, how come they're not answering?
I know. You hate the Riot. Why are they on the radio?
Stupid. Yeah.
Honestly, we can't trust them with anything else. It's the Riot on RadioU.
This is going to sound dumb. And again, we already established I'm probably not going to make it anyway. So might as well just be honest with you guys about where I'm at. I mean, I guess somewhere in the back of my mind, I figured they were still building boats somewhere. But
what do you mean, like warship boats or boat like weekend boats?
Royal Caribbean is about to unveil its new cruise ship.
Yeah, they're always doing. Well, I mean, it takes a while to build one, but
I want to go see where they're doing that. What does that look like?
Probably impressive.
Oh my gosh! Do you realize what I just did? I want to watch a boat documentary. I just said it.
Someone loves boat documentaries over there. I'm fascinated by it. What's wrong with you?
And I didn't even realize I was making that journey. It just came out.
He watched a lot of boat documentaries on Netflix and YouTube.
About World War II and World War I boats.
Now you're into cruise ship boats?
Do you guys know that in 1906, the Intrepid changed everything? Everything. It was like the first... Was it destroyed? No, whatever. Okay, it's fine.
It's fine. Back to the cruise ship.
Yeah, so they're building a new cruise ship. It's going to be called, what is it called? I don't know, but they made one. It comes out next year. Dude, it has rooms in there called Ultimate Family Suites, 2,800 square feet.
And a cruise ship?
It's got a slide. It's 2 levels. So there's a slide that you can slide down to the second level.
From the top to the bottom? That's really fun.
What? It will have a bathroom that extends over the side of the ship to provide an unparalleled ocean view while you're in the bath. So, like, you're in the bath hanging over the ocean. That's terrifying. Okay. All right.
And perhaps immodest privacy.
A virtual reality bungee trampoline experience. That sounds cool. This thing looks awesome. And I'm sure that 2,800 square feet is very inexpensive.
We're going and you're staying in the room that's the size of the closet.
Steerage.
Yeah.
This has its own home theater.
In the room or?
In the Ultimate Family Suite. That's the only way I can travel now. Now that I know about that.
They're like, sir, where's your family? You're like, I am the family.
You're looking at the family, son.
I want the whole thing.
Now I'm getting back on that slide. Shut up about it.
Get out of the room.
This slide is awesome.
Cruise ships are always that tempting vacation idea, but we've never done one. And we've heard pluses and minuses, like from all different people who either love them or hate them.
I don't know. I've never been on one, and I'm too afraid of the ocean, so I don't think I ever want to be on one. I mean, I can have almost all of these same luxuries at home. At home, I've got virtual reality.
You can make a slide.
I've got a bathtub. And there's a slide at the park down the street.
Yeah, so that's the world is your cruise ship.
Look at the luxury that I live in, Nikki. Wow. And I mean,
people are wanting to book your life as their vacation.
I'm going to the Golden Corral today. I'll get the buffet.
That's the buffet there.
All the bread I want.
I just would want to guarantee that if we did go on a cruise ship, we wouldn't have any problems that we read about sometimes. No sickness, no whatever.
But think about this, Nikki. This is the new ship. It's called the Spectrum of the Seas. All right. It has a 51-night global odyssey first cruise. So they take it out like on its first thing. Nobody's been on there to be sick yet.
True.
So you can get on there now, and it's like, it is clean. It's like when they built the new dorm and I moved in, and you're like, I don't have to worry about this building having bad memories. It's fine. It's new.
All right, well, let's look at prices, and we'll see.
Okay. Oh, well, guess we're not going then.
So we're turning the boat around, aren't we?
Ever wonder what Nikki is doing when she isn't rioting? Find her Twitter feed at riot.radiou.com. Obadiah is there too, but who cares what he's doing?
Man, did you see the story about the lady in Georgia that killed a bobcat with her bare hands? What?
Talk about, and I think she was older, too. She took care of that situation.
46 years old.
She had the adrenaline going.
Well, I mean, she had bare hands, so
Yeah.
that's not as big of a challenge when you have hands that large. So, no, she this is
She
crazy.
was severely injured, too, from the thing.
She was, you can see her. She's got bites all over her, but she went ahead and she choked that thing until it died. It was they say, rabid bobcat. She said that she knew, she grew up in the country and she knew all about bobcats. She said they go for your jugular because they get your vein and you're dead in a couple of minutes.
So she knew that he was going to try for that and how to grab him.
Mm-hmm. So she says, I love this, and I quote, I thought, not today. There's no way I'm dying.
Way to go, lady.
Holy crap.
That's intense.
She said she saw it prowling near her car, and she took a picture of it, and she said it took one step toward her, and as soon as it stepped toward her, she knew she was in
going
trouble.
for her.
Yep. And so she said it caught me in the face, but I got him before he could do much damage there. I took it straight to the ground and started inching my hands up its throat. I knew it was the only way I was going to get out of this.
I feel like we need a Google Doc or something of if we were out more often in areas where some of these creatures were, certain types, for the bobcat, okay, it's going to go for your neck. These little notes to remind you so that if you need to fight it off, or this bear's going to do this, or this bear, you need to scream at it, it'll run away, or don't scream at it, this bear gets intimidated.
Some survival stuff.
Yeah, some survival skills and a document handy.
Now get a load of this. She starts fighting with this thing, and she says the struggle was silent. Her 5-year-old granddaughter was sleeping in the house, and she was afraid that if she heard her screaming, the little girl might come outside.
Come out. Oh, man.
Let me tell you something. This is the toughest grandma ever.
She took care of that.
She's just there was a bobcat. I killed it with my bare hands to keep it from taking the children. What?
She gets this.
I'll tell you what she needs to do. She needs to start a babysitting service. That's what she needs to do. She's just
the kids are safe.
Bring me your kid. Nothing is getting it. I will see to that personally. Unbelievable. So she said she ended up getting her son. He came out. And he had a gun. He said that she was too close to shoot it. She wouldn't let go of it. She had a death grip on it. So he took out his knife, stabbed it 4 or 5 times, and they figured out.
Wow, I've never been in a situation like that.
I would like to never be in a situation like this.
I know, it'd be so weird.
I don't want to have to face off against.
I mean, my little cat's nails got too long once, but that was it.
Yeah.
But nothing like that.
It's pretty wild, right?
Aww.
So she survived, Nikki. That's crazy. She survived.
Killed her with her bare hands.
Think she has bobcat nightmares now?
No, she's tough.
Think so? She's just
put
whatever.
That right on down.
Or is it one of those things where you're just
she's empowered now.
That's what I was going to say.
It's the other way.
It has the opposite. Instead of you walking around afraid all the time, she walks around just
come at me.
Come at me, bro. I got your friend. I'll get you next.
Come at me, Bob.
Come on.
This was the worst of the riots, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The riot exists because Radio U exists, and Radio U only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.
So straight fat, massive carbs, fat and carbs.